Hi, welcome to your first Project 1 assignment, English 335. I wanted to go over Project 1. Many of you requested this video. So I wanted to go over Project 1 just to make everything very clear and to kind of address some of the most common questions and pitfalls that I see with this assignment. I've taught this assignment many times. I've been teaching this class for a long time here at University of Idaho and Gonzaga, and so I know some of the common questions. But if you have additional questions, please do not hesitate at all to ask. You can email me. I'm pretty quick at getting back to you, and you can call, you can come to my office hours, whatever works best for you. So I'm going to go over this actual assignment. It's tedious to go through the whole thing, but I want to address some things on the way. So this is project number 1, writing to achieve a readable prose style. The learning outcomes, or what I want you to know by the time you're done with this, is I want you to learn the principle behind achieving an effective, readable, technical prose style. I want you to learn the elements of effective document design for a memo. I want you to learn standard formatting conventions for one of the most common forms of workplace communication, and that is this memo. Now, as an aside, memos aren't used commonly in the workplace unless it's a memo-style report. Honestly, people don't use memos anymore. They email each other in the workplace, but reports are nearly always done, at least at most, big box companies like Amazon and Google, reports are done in memo style, so this is a style that you may very well use. I want you to be able to determine how readable your style is by analyzing your prior writing, because often you repeat the same kinds of patterns in your writing, so I want you to analyze and see what you find. And I want you to gain practice in writing a memo report. The overview for this assignment: style concerns the artful expression of ideas. If invention, or finding what to say, addresses what is to be said, style addresses how this will be said. From a rhetorical perspective, style is not incidental or superficial or supplementary. Style names how ideas are embodied in language and customized to communicative contexts. Style involves not just the words you use, but the order or structure in which you use them. It includes elements of layout, design, and in many instances, the use of illustration. All writing should aim at being readable, but in technical writing, and remember, this is technical writing, it's a new style of writing that you probably don't have a ton of experience with, if any. It's very different from academic writing. In tech writing, readable refers to specific aspects of style. Technical documents are frequently aimed at multiple audiences with varying levels of technical expertise, sometimes in the same document. Meeting the needs of multiple readers in a single document is challenging and requires close attention to both style and structure. And this is another aside. Technical documents are written for an audience who, most of the time, really don't want to be reading what's written. These are people who aren't reading this for leisure or for fun. Oh, excuse me, I have the hiccups. This is something that you want your reader to be able to digest quickly, easily, and take away the most essential information in the shortest amount of time possible. So you need to make it incredibly easy and clear for them to read. In addition, if your technical prose style is unclear, misunderstandings can occur, which not only reflect poorly on the writer, but may place an audience in danger, such as a poorly placed warning on a set of instructions. For this assignment, you will apply the concepts for achieving an effective prose style by analyzing at least 500 words of your prior writing, and we'll talk about what kinds of writing you can look at. The audience for this is, I want you to address your memo report to me. I need to know how well you understand and are able to execute prose style concepts. The format is a memo. Now, in chapter 14 of your book, there's a fantastic overview of a memo and all of the different parts. And then I also have this parts of a memo handout, which is similar to what's in your book, but it's slightly different. And you're going to find that whatever company you go to, whatever place you're at, they're going to have different styles of memos that they require, and that's okay. As long as you have the essential information, the header right there, the header for additional pages, a summary, subject headings, and you pay attention to style, you will be fine. And here's a fantastic sample memo that shows you that heading, how you do the summary or intro, and how the subject headings work. So take a peek at this parts of a memo handout. It's helpful in addition to your book. Guidelines for this is, oh, I'm sorry. And it needs to be about 2 to 3 pages. And remember that a memo is single spaced. It is always single spaced. You have space between paragraphs, but within the paragraphs themselves, it is single spaced. If you have a bulleted list within a paragraph, you're going to set that off by a space, but within the paragraphs themselves, that is single spaced. Select prior writing. You may analyze any writing you have done previously as long as it is nonfiction. Creative writing is just not going to work here because it plays by completely different rules. So if you've written reports for science or engineering or any of your, any of your courses at college, these may be the best choice. But please don't be concerned if you haven't written these documents. There are other things you can do. Any academic paper will work as long as it's nonfiction. And remember, you're looking for 500 words total, so you might need to combine pieces of really short papers or short works to get to 500. If you have a really long paper that's like 2,000 words, pick only 500-ish words. And remember that 500 words is about 2 double-spaced pages of your original writing. If your computer has like exploded and blown up and you have no idea, you don't have any papers, look through your old emails. Look for any business style emails, any emails that you've written for like a business or professional purpose, and see if you can piece together a couple of emails to come up with about a 500 word sample of writing to work with. Conducting the analysis. Analyze your writing for the concepts discussed in Chapter 10 of your textbook and the Pro Style lectures located in the Week 1 module. And remember, those concepts are things like sentence fragments and passive voice and excess words and long noun strings, stuff like that. Each one of those things is its own concept. You definitely don't have to address all of those concepts, but choose some that you find in your own writing. As a hint here, usually excess wordiness and passive voice are ones that nearly everyone finds in their original writing. So that can be a place to start. I went off script here. Although you do not need to analyze your prose for all of these concepts, you will want to demonstrate a range of concepts. Most students they select between 3 and 5 specific concepts as they're building this memo, and that gets them to that 2 to 3 page length without any excess fluff. So 3 to 5 concepts is what you want to work with. Most students who do this assignment find room for improvement, but if your prose style is excellent, then point that out in your analysis. If not, concentrate on what is not working well. 1.3, writing up the findings from your analysis. After you have analyzed your writing, decide what areas you need to work on and write up your findings in a memo of about 2 to 3 pages. In this write-up, you should refer to concepts using the same terminology as in the course materials. In one of those lectures, I talk about cutting the fat. So if you refer to cutting the fat, I'll know what that means. You can use that, but make sure it's in the lectures or in the book, so we're all on the same page. An analytical report such as this one requires you to make claims, a statement you assert to be true. All claims you make about your writing will need supporting examples, which are short excerpts from your prior writing with enough explanation to reveal your understanding of the concept you are applying. And I want you to be really careful here. Remember that with a memo, each paragraph should be focused on one specific item or concept. Keep that in mind. It will make building this report much easier. Focus on one concept per paragraph. Make your claim, show an example, and then analyze and explain it. That's how you're going to build this. Although some revision may be necessary to demonstrate your understanding of a concept, be certain to emphasize analysis and not revision in your report. Be sure to see 1.4 for examples of former student work. So 1.4, this is a pretty good example. In this example, this first one, the writer chose to analyze the abstract of a report he wrote for a group project in another course. So right here, he discusses wordiness. You'll notice he has a heading here. That's great, wordiness. So I know exactly what he's going to be talking about in this section. My writing often contains unnecessary words. So that's his claim right there. My writing contains the necessary words, short and sweet. For example, in this sentence, I highlighted words that could easily be eliminated to sharpen the prose. And he has an example here from his original text, and he highlighted those excess words. Now, right here, I would want him to go into some detail to analyze when does he use those excess words? Why does he use them? How does he use them? And what will he do in the future for when he's writing for a technical audience to keep an eye out for this or address this? So analysis very specifically deals with those, when, where, why, how type questions. So if you spend some time with that, you'll have really good analysis. This is good, but it needs more analysis. Writer number 2 did something different. In this example, the writer chose to analyze a paper written for an environmental science course. Notice how this writer chose to revise the original in order to demonstrate how vague and unclear her writing was compared to the revision. But she also clearly explained what did not work. In other words, she is emphasizing analysis and not relying on the revised text to be self-evident as improved over the original. So her concept is being clear and specific. She has a heading here, so I know exactly what this paragraph is going to be about. And she makes a claim. I discovered in doing this analysis that my opening paragraph for this paper contained facts that were irrelevant and the paper lacked a clear and specific thesis. In my revision, I clearly state the main environmental problems and explain why these are difficult to solve. So a little bit of analysis there. She has her original. It's very long-winded. Niger is located in Western Africa, bordering on Algeria, Benin, Burkina Faso, Chad, Libya, Mali, Nigeria, and is roughly twice the size of Texas. The capital of Niger is Niamey. The landscape consists of 4/5 desert plain and 1/5 savanna. Niger is one of the hottest countries in the world with a desert and tropical climate. Due to the extreme landscape, the country relies on limited agriculture as their main form of economy. The revision, now this isn't bad. The original isn't bad, but it sounds more like a 7th grade welcome to Western Africa type paper. It's not very specific for what she was writing. So she makes it crystal clear in here. The revision is Niger faces several environmental problems. Overgrazing, soil erosion, deforestation, desertification, and diminishing wildlife populations. These environmental problems are difficult to solve because political corruption and the low standard of living in this country. So boom, right off the bat, this paper is going to focus on overgrazing, soil erosion, deforestation, etc., and show why these problems are difficult to solve. It's just much more clear and concise. And remember, in technical writing, you want to get to the point very, very quickly. Very quickly. There's something that I want to show you here. And how you can build this type of report. Remember that the memo needs to have the heading information, that to, from, date, and subject. You need to have your purpose and very short summary of the contents of a memo. Your first very short paragraph should state your purpose very clearly. The purpose of this memo is to blah, 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 blah. Explain why squirrels should be exterminated from the face of the earth. Something like that that pertains to this assignment. And a very short summary of the contents of the memo. In this memo, I will explore concept 1, concept 2, and concept 3. So you want to make it very, very clear what you're going to be talking about so readers know what to expect. What I would do if I were tackling this assignment is I would clearly write out concept number 1, like wordiness. Then I would make a claim about the concept as specific to your writing. I discovered in my writing that I use excess words at the beginning of sentences or something like that. I would have a short example to show the concept, how it has been working in your form of writing. And then I would do a very clear and complete analysis of that concept in your writing. What's going on with that concept in your writing? Why do you use it? When do you use it? Where? How? And your future handling of the concept. You might not be able to answer all these questions. You might answer 1 or 2, but try to address them in your analysis. And you're just going to build this with 3 to 5 different concepts that you notice in your writing. And then you're going to have a very short conclusion where you wrap it up. So don't feel overwhelmed at that 2 to 3 pages. Build it 1 concept at a time, and you're going to be just fine. You'll be absolutely fine. You'll be golden. A couple other things that I wanted to show you. back here in week 1. Be sure, if you haven't before, to watch the lectures. It's very important. Be sure to go down to the bottom and look at these sample papers. They're here to help you. That is all I have for today. Let me know if you